Today, I'm going to discuss the one of the important feature of object-oriented programming, that is inheritance. Earlier, when I discussed the topic feature of OOPS, I mentioned it's a feature. Inheritance is a feature which is used for the purpose of reusability of code. Today, we are going to learn how we can reuse the code through this feature inheritance in Java. The main concept of inheritance is we have to define a parent class where we can declare some data members as well as methods like normal classes. Then we have to inherit the class into a child class. When I am inheriting a parent class into a child class, when I am inheriting a parent class into a child class, automatically, if it is if the data members and methods are not declared as private, automatically it is available in the child class. Moreover, the important thing is that we can add more data members as well as more methods into the child class. So inheritance in Java is a mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties and behaviors of the parent object. It is an important part of OOPS. And the idea behind inheritance in Java is that we can create a new classes that are built upon the existing classes. This existing class is actually the parent class. When we inherit from an existing class, we can reuse methods and fields. Here fields means the data members of the parent class. Moreover, that I mentioned, moreover, we can add new methods and fields in the current class also. And this inheritance is called ISA relationships in the object-oriented programming perspective. Why we use inheritance? For the two purposes. One already we mentioned, that is code reusability, and second one is the runtime polymorphism can be achieved through the technique method overriding that we'll discuss in detail in this lecture. Class. What is class? We already aware about it. A class is a group of objects which have a common properties, and it's nothing but a template or blueprint from which objects are created. Then the child class and the parent class. Parent class is called the super class also, and sub child class is also called the subclass. Subclass is a class which inherits the parent class, and it is also called the derived class as well as the extended class. What is the reusability means? Reusability specifies the mechanism which facilitates to reuse the data members and methods of the existing class when we are going to create a new class. The same fields and methods which are already defined in the previous class, means the parent class, can be used in the new class. So this is the basic concept of the parent class, child class in the inheritance. This is the general syntax, general Java syntax to implement the topic, or rather feature, inheritance. The syntax is class, subclass name, extends, superclass name. So if we write over here, class B extends A, means B is the child class, A is the parent class. I'm extending class B from class A. So the methods and the members which are defined in class A is automatically extended to class B, which automatically inherited to class B. What this extend means, extends keywords indicate that making a new class that derives from an existing class, and we can increase the functionality of the child class, or rather the subclass. So that's why the meaning of extends is to increase the functionality. In the terminology of Java, a class which is inherited is called a parent or superclass, and the new class is called the child class of this process. This is the pictorial representation of inheritance. Here, employee is a class which consists only one data member, salary, and the data type of this employee of this salary data member is float. Another class here we depicted, that is programmer. Fine. So one data member is defined over there, that is bonus. The data type of the member bonus is integer. Now, what is the meaning of this arrow? The meaning of this arrow is programmer is the extended class from employee. So it's a very important, the arrow direction of the arrow is from child to parent, not from parent to child. It is from child class to the parent class. Here, programmer is the child class, employee is the parent class, programmer, class programmer is extended from class employee. So all the data members of the employee class is automatically inherited to the child class programmer. So in the class programmer, we have two data members. One is salary, which is inherited from class employee, and it is extended. A new member is defined over here, or rather declared over here, that is bonus. So here, programmer is the subclass, employee is the superclass or parent class, and the relation between employee and the programmer is defined as is a employee, rather is a relationship, is a relationship. Java also supports has a relationship. It is called aggregation. I will discuss this topic later on. So this is inheritance. This inheritance feature can be interpreted as a is a relationship between parent class and child class. So here, according to this example, we can say programmer is a employee, is a employee. That means programmer is a type of employee. So here I'm giving the code, a small code snippet for the previous example. Look, class employee. float salary 40,000. Class programmer extends employee. So that means automatically the salary fields come into the programmer class. Inside the programmer class, I'm going to define my main method. I'm creating an object of programmer class, programmer P equal to new programmer. Then I'm printing P dot salary. Automatically the salary field is accessible from here, and the amount should be 40,000. And the very next line I'm writing system.out.println, that is the bonus part of P, which is displaying the value 10,000. So output is programmer salary is 40,000 and the bonus of the programmer is 10,000. So in the class programmer, member salary is coming from the parent class and bonus is defined inside the class programmer. Now, the very important part. It's a type of inheritance. Type of inheritance. The previous example that we already discussed is the first type of, that is called single level. What is the meaning of single level? There is only one parent class and one child class. Child class is inherited from the parent class. Child class is inherited from the parent class. So when class B is inheriting from class A, so there is a single level inheritance. So corresponding Java syntax will be class B extends A. Second type of is, it's a multi-level. Class B extends from class A and class C is extends from class B. So here it's an example of multi-level inheritance. Hierarchical, class A is the parent class, B and C is the child class of class A. So when I interpret this in a form of code, first we have to define class A, then we have to write class B extends A, class C extends A, class B extends A, class C extends A. So that is the example of hierarchical. Fourth one is the multiple. Multiple inheritance is basically, the meaning of multiple inheritance is the child class have more than one parent class. So here class C is the child class which has more than one parent class. One is class A, another one is class B. But in reality, in Java, multiple inheritance is not supported directly. Java is not supporting multiple inheritance directly. To achieve multiple inheritance in Java, we have to learn interface, and through interface we can achieve this multiple inheritance. So the later on of this chapter, after completion of this topic inheritance, we'll discuss the topic inheritance, we'll discuss the topic interface, which will explain the multiple inheritance in Java. And the last type of is hybrid, which is nothing but the combinations of any two type of inheritance. It may be single hierarchical, it may be single multi-level, it may be hierarchical multi-level. So any combinations of any two type of inheritance is called hybrid inheritance. There's a type of hybrid inheritance. So it's an example of single level inheritance. Look, class animal, void eat, It is a defined method of class animal. Then class dog extends animal. Void bark is another defined method of class dog. Fine. So which one is the parent class here? Animal. Which one is the child class here? Dog. So dog extends class animal. When I'm extending class dog from class animal, that means automatically the void eat, the method which I defined inside the class animal, is available to the class dog. As well as I'm extending the class dog here because I defined one more method, that is bark. Now I'm going to define my own main method, which is the main class name I given, test inheritance. In that case, in that method, main method, I create an object of class dog, dog d new dog. I'm calling the method bark on the object d as well as method eat. So both are working fine, and the output gives first call bark is giving me SOPLN barking. So barking is coming in the output. Second call was d.eat. That means in the method eat, it is defined system.out.println eating. So eating is coming as a output. Multi-level, it's class A. Go back into the previous slide. Class A, class B, class C. B is extending from class A. C is extending from class B. So I have to write class A, then I have to write B extends A, then C extends B in this way. So this is the implementations of multi-level inheritance. Here class animal, void eat is there, method. Class dog extends animal. So this is actually B. Class dog extends animal. Bark method is defined over there. Another class I declared over here, that is class baby dog extends dog. So this baby dog is nothing but the class C. So animal is class A. Dog is extending from animal. So dog is class B. And here baby dog is extending from class dog. So baby dog is class C. So now in the making method, I'm creating an object of class baby dog d equal to new baby dog. And I'm calling the method d.weep. So according to the definitions of the weep method, it is giving the output weeping. Then I'm writing d.bark, which is giving the output barking. And the third call, which is basically d.eat, is giving the output eating. Next, hierarchical inheritance. Try to remember the representations of hierarchical inheritance. It is class A, class B and C as the child of class A. This is the hierarchical inheritance. So here in this example, class animal, fine, that is class A. Eat method is defined over there. Second method is class dog, second class, not method, class dog, which is extending class animal. And third class is cat, which is also extending class animal. So here animal is class A, dog is class B, cat is class C, as per the pictorial representations of hierarchical inheritance. And the main method, I have created an object of class cat. The name of the object is C. Fine. Now C dot meow, it will work fine because it is defined inside class cat. C dot eat, it will also work fine because eat method is defined inside the parent class animal. But bark method will not work on C. Why? Because bark is defined inside the class dog, which is basically reside as a sibling of this class cat. So the methods which are defined in the sibling classes cannot be implemented in the class cat, or rather in the class which are reside in the same level, it cannot be implemented. So here the method bark cannot be called by the object C, as because C is the object of class cat and bark is the method which is defined inside the class dog, and dog is the basically sibling class of class cat, because both are the child of class animal. So bark method will not work, it will give you error. So that's why I have commented this line. Now I already mentioned that we cannot implement multiple inheritance directly in Java. It is not supported in Java. Now the question comes, why it is not supported in Java? The answer is given through an example. Say class a method MSG is defined over here. Matlab message, which actually prints the uh, hello word, system.out.println hello. Second class B, again void MSG, which prints the method, which prints the word welcome according to the definitions I'm telling. Now, if we can implement the multiple inheritance in Java, the syntax of the parent classes, rather the syntax of uh, inheriting the child class from parent will be like this. Class C extends A comma B. If it is acceptable, then the syntax will be like this. Class, going back to the previous slide, class subclass name extends superclass name. That is the general syntax for writing the child class, writing the inheritance code, or rather the inheritance concept in Java. So here child class is C and the parent classes are A and B. So I have to write class C extends A comma B. Now in the main method, I've created an object of class C and I'm calling the method MSG from object C. Object C, object of class C, that is obj here, right? C obj equal to new C, so my object name is obj. So it's very clear. Obj is obj can access the method MSG, or rather the method which are defined inside class A and also inside class B, because A and B are here, both are the parent classes. A and B both are the parent classes. So that's why this MSG, the methods which are defined inside the parent classes, is very much accessible to the object obj, which belongs to class C. Now the compiler is now in confusion. Why? Because the compiler has two parent classes. For this program, the compiler is basically looking for MSG method which are defined twice. One is the parent class A, another is in parent class B. So it is compiler gets confused which MSG method would be invoked. So definitely it arises compile time error, and that's why Java is not supporting multiple inheritance directly. To incorporate it or to implement multiple inheritance in Java, we have to use the concept interface, which we'll discuss very soon. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that inheritance is the concept of is-a relationship. Java also supports has-a relationships, which is called aggregation. Fine. Look how the aggregations can be implemented in Java. Consider a situation: employee object contains many informations of an employee, such as his ID, his name, his email ID, etc., etc. It contains one more object named address, which contains its own informations such as city, state, country, zip code, etc. So now we are going to define class employee. The first member is ID. Second member is a name. The data type of ID is integer. The name data type of name member is string. And the third member, which is address here, look at the data type of this address. It's basically a class. It's basically a class. What is the class? Address. So now it's a detailed programming example of the program that I have just discussed. Public class address, string city, state, country. Fine. City, state, country. And this is the constructor of the address class. Use of this because I have taken the parameter name as city, state, country, which are similar to the member variables, or rather the class members. So to remove ambiguity, we have to use keyword this that I discussed earlier when I discussed the topic, this keyword. So this dot city equal to city, this dot state equal to state, this dot country equal to country. That is the part of address constructor. So class definition address is over. Now I'm going to define the class employee, where the first member is ID, second member is the name, the ID member data type is int, second member name data type is string, and the third member address data type is class address, which is defined earlier. And this is EMP. This EMP is nothing but the constructor. These are the parameters: int ID, string name, address. This dot ID equal to ID, this dot name equal to name, this dot address equal to address. Void display. It will print the name, ID name, as well as address dot city, address dot state, address dot country. Now I'm going to create an object of a EMP class. Before going to create an object of EMP class, we are going to create the object of address class. Look, address one, new address, GZB UP India. Second address object, GNO UP India. So these are the basically two address objects, address 1 and address 2. This will be the parameter of the constructor calling of EMP class, because one member of the EMP class is given as a reference of class address. So I have passed this object address 1 and address 2 as a parameter of the constructor EMP. So look, EMP E equal to new EMP 111 comma Varun comma address 1. Fine. EMP 112 comma Arun comma address 2. So when I'm writing e.display, it will actually print ID and name, because ID name is the method of the current class. It will print very easy way. But when I'm going to print city, state, country, it needs to call the member city, state, country, which is defined under the class address object. So that's why it it should be, when it will call the display method, it will print the city, state, country in the way address.ct, address.state, and address.country in this way. So this is called the aggregations, which we can implement in Java. So it's basically has a relationship. Inheritance is a relationship, and aggregations has a relationship, okay, which can be implemented in Java. So in the next class, we will discuss the topic super keyword, which is a part of inheritance. Thank you very much.